What's up, everybody? I figured I'd do a quick video about what I worked on the Volvo this week. I'm always working on little odds and ends, and so I thought it'd be fun to share. It's been really hot here, and so I ordered some bulbs so I could replace all the bulbs in the radio and some of the interior switches because I can see virtually nothing at night. Since I've owned the car, the majority of the rocker switches have been out, all but one of the lights in the radio is out, and the gear shift light is out. So I figured I would tackle all that while it's too hot to really do anything else around the house, garage, or cars. I started with the radio since I kind of knew what I was doing there. Just pull it right out of the dash and get to disassembling it. I actually pulled the knobs off, but the way that I removed the radio I didn't have to. I've seen a couple how-tos where they separate the faceplate from the circuit board or take the back of the radio off, but I found it easiest to remove the 3 screws that hold the circuit board on and then just don't even separate it from the faceplate. Pull the whole assembly right off. You just pry up on those little tabs around the edges after you take the screws out and the whole thing comes off. There are 5 bulbs in all, and you just need a small screwdriver and a quarter turn and they pop right out. I did order enough to replace them all because I figured if all but one is burnt out, that last one probably isn't long for this world. All the old DIYs talk about getting the bulbs from Radio Shack, but that's obviously no longer an option in 2020, so just find them wherever you can get them cheapest. FCP, Rock Auto, Amazon, all carry different variations of these bulbs, the long ones, the short ones, the gear shift one. You'll be able to find them. I didn't want to deal with rewiring the bulb into the socket, so I just bought the whole assembly, but mine didn't come with the little blue cover, which wasn't really a problem. It's just like a silicone cover and it slips right off and onto the new bulb without a problem. The bulbs did have a little more resistance going in than when they came out, and I ended up using a little larger of a screwdriver because I was stripping out the slot, but all in all, turned out fine. Next up was the rocker switches on the dash. The dimmer switch is kind of funky because it's longer than the rest of the rocker switches, so it's harder to get out of the dash. It uses a short bulb instead of a long bulb like the rest of the rocker switches, and the bulb is situated kind of funky, so it's like really far into the switch and you kind of got to knock the switch to get it to fall out. That switch, however, is easy compared to the trip computer switch, that little knob that says info above it. That switch doesn't have an access port for the bulb like the rest of the rocker switches do. So I made a separate video on how to do the bulb on that switch because it's so unique, and I also ran into a problem based off how I did it. So be sure to check that video out if you have any questions about replacing the bulb in that particular switch. With the exception of the little info switch hangup, everything else turned out great. The lighting isn't totally consistent, but it looks better in real life than it does in the video. But either way, I don't really mind because having the switches illuminated is better than nothing at all. So thanks for checking this out, everybody. If you have any questions about this video or suggestions for future ones, don't be afraid to leave it in the comments. I try to answer everybody. Thanks a lot.